Hello and welcome to the program. The ongoing banditry in Zamfara State in northwest Nigeria is one that is now snowballing into a very serious national security issue. These days, hardly does a week go by without people being killed in attacks by bandits in that state. It's estimated that at least 3,000 persons have so far been killed in the state since armed bandits began ravaging local communities in Zamfara in 2014. Now, the number may even be higher than that. In 2019 alone, at least 200 persons have been reportedly killed in series of attacks blamed on bandits in that state. The federal government has taken different measures to deal with the situation, but none appear to have had any significant impact as the killings still continue. Just this past week, President Muhammadu Buhari met for the upteenth time, if you like, with the country's security chiefs over the matter, telling them to be ruthless with the bandits.
The security meeting we've just had with Mr. President today is to review the strategy that we are adopting in confronting the security issues in Zamfara State, especially, and other places nationwide. And this review strategy is to address all the issues, including kidnapping, banditry, and other associated issues confronting the nation. And we are coming up with a revised strategy to handle those challenges.
But the chief has spoken, but I want to assure Nigerians that Kaduna-Abuja road is now safe. We have cleared the road. We've arrested a lot of the kidnappers, and in confrontation with some of them, some were fatally injured. So the road is cleared. Our patrol teams, the combined security services that are patrolling the road, are there constantly 24 hours.
Now, everyone is waiting to see what results the latest order would achieve, but as you can expect, the issue has been generating serious reactions from different quarters. Lawmakers in the National Assembly devoted much of their time last week debating the matter. The House of Representatives has now asked President Buhari to appear before it to explain why his government has not been able to deal decisively with the issue and bring the attacks to an end. We are waiting to see if the president, of course, would honor that summon, but it sure goes to show how seriously lawmakers are taking the matter. In the Senate, some senators are actually asking the president to declare a state of emergency on the issue. Among those advocating a state of emergency is Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu. He also says the creation of a state police would help to address the issue.
I remember I was sent a delegation headed by the Senate leader on a fact-finding. He came back with very troubling reports. I remember too that in that report we are told that the whole of Zamfara had been engulfed, except possibly one local government. And I don't know how safe that local government is today.
The crisis in Zamfara State is capable of, like I said, engulfing the whole of western state. As I talk to you today, Mr. President, more than 75% of people in Zamfara State are not sleeping in their houses.
All the efforts that has been invested in Zamfara has not translated into an effective result that could have bring an end to the killings, the violence, and the kidnappings. We have seen all sorts of operations Tiger, Scorpion, Lions, and all sorts of sloganeering by the security agencies to address the issue, but it has not been able to be tackled. Every life matters. And what is happening in that very state is symptomatic. It's symptomatic of the fact that we are failing as a nation. And these are all symptoms of a failing state.
It is not only Zamfara that is facing this crisis, but the kind of wanton killing on a daily basis calls for a drastic measure. Taraba too has crisis. Adamawa is in crisis. Kaduna is in crisis. Rivers is in crisis. Niger is in crisis. Plateau is in crisis. Benue is in crisis. Katsina too is in crisis. So if we looked at all the 36 states, virtually almost 80% of our states are in need of one, security agencies or the other.
Now, the Senate also resolved to make 10 billion naira available in the 2019 budget to support affected communities in the crisis in Zamfara State. It remains to be seen if the president would go ahead to declare a state of emergency in Zamfara and other states suffering from this insecurity malaise. For now, though, the government has banned mining activities in Zamfara State after it was linked to the attacks. It's asked all foreigners in the mining sector there to leave. Besides, personnel of the Nigerian military and police are also in the state battling the bandits. The Air Force has been carrying out bombing raids on bandits' hideouts in the state. Now, joining me from Abuja to speak further on this troubling security situation is Patrick Agbambu, who is a security consultant and has actually traveled widely around some of these areas that are beset by insecurity challenges. Patrick, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Let me get your take on this. What exactly is going on in Zamfara State? These attacks, are they being carried out by bandits or herdsmen?
Yeah, thank you very much. Really, the issue in Zamfara is calls for serious worries for any well-meaning Nigerian and for the government. I make bold to say that in serious study of what is happening in Zamfara, one can say that there is no government in Zamfara State as we speak, because the cardinal responsibility of government is the protection of life and property of the citizens. So, as we speak, the people of Zamfara's life, they are not being protected by the government in Zamfara. And that gives the rise for the call of states of emergency so that proper attention can be given to the situation in Zamfara State. And so those calling for state of emergency, they are very, very right. I have visited some of those areas in Zamfara State, and I must tell you that the situation is much, much troubling than people can actually talk about.
So you think it's necessary for a state of emergency to be declared in that state?
Yeah, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that that will provide an immediate solution, because that will give the armed forces the leeway to go all-out onslaught on anybody who is trying to disturb the peace of that state.
But what is stopping the armed forces right now from doing so, now that an emergency has not been declared? Is anything stopping the armed forces from taking the kind of action they should take?
Yeah, first and foremost, we know that a lot of precautionary measures has to be taken. One is what was issued last week when the federal government withdrew or canceled the mining license in that area, and asked both those who are licensed and those illegal operators to evacuate the operation immediately, because the military is ready to carry out the actions to flush out those hoodlums wherever they are. The situation is worse because these bandits are hibernating in some of the forests that house these mining sites, and that is the reason why there is need for serious action on it. So, yes, the military are hampered a bit now to carry out that operation because you still have a level of civil governance in that state. But why I say no earlier is that state of emergency alone or military action alone cannot just solve the situation. Our border is very, very porous, very, very porous in that axis. So there is a lot of action that needs to be taken, security actions that needs to be taken to the fact that so that if there's a record of success, it can be sustained for a very long time. But mind you, you remember some few weeks to the elections, and after the elections, they were kind of what we can call maybe the bandits went on sabbatical. There was no action. So why is it that after this election there's a resurgence? That is the situation that is calling for serious attention.
Could that also be a pointer to the fact that, or to you know, that one could infer from that you know, politicians might also be involved in this?
It's 100% correct. I must tell you that politicians are not totally exonerated from the situation there. Taking it further, if you recall that the Minister of Defense did also accuse some of the traditional rulers of it. So these people, the elites and the politicians, are the ones that they are the fuel that has been escalating this fire that is burning in Zamfara State.
And of course, because you talked about what the Minister of Defense actually said, accusing some traditional rulers in that region, the traditional rulers have actually come out asking the minister to go ahead and name the traditional rulers who might be aiding and abetting some of these bandits. But Patrick, what I want to find out from you, could you tell us who are these bandits?
Yeah, from our studies, because we needed to take a look at their mode of operation of some of these attacks, and find out that it's not an attack that is isolated. It's an attack that holistic. They wipe out or destroy a whole community, and nobody is left unless those who are quick enough to escape. It actually tells that these are not just ordinary bandits. These are terrorists. Actually, maybe to cause total disorganization in the social life of the activities of the people for other purposes. Remember that the activities of these terrorists in the Northeast have drastically been decimated. Not much of their operations is happening there. So there seems to be a little bit of upbeat in terms of operations in the Northwest. Looking at when you go to Katsina, where you had some bandits, so-called bandit operations there, and now zeroing down to the issue of kidnapping. You go towards Zamfara, you see, and some part of Sokoto. So you see that their modus of operandi, the mode of operation, tell towards saying that these are terrorist group that needs to be taken seriously. They are not bandits.
Patrick,
when you talk about bandits, you are talking of a group of people who either feel aggrieved or criminals who are. But these are people who are actually out to totally wipe away the innocent Nigerians that are living in those communities.
All right, Patrick, we'll take a short break, and I'll come back to you so that we talk more about these bandits and try to find out if there's a link between these bandits and the insurgents operating in the northeast of the country. We'll take a short break now, and we'll be right back. On Deji 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country?
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that band.
Deji 360, providing clarity to issues. All right, welcome back. I'm still being joined from Abuja by Patrick Agwambu, who is a security consultant. Patrick, is there a connection? Is there a chance that these people we refer to as bandits are actually insurgents from the northeast who have basically come down to the northwest to carry out these dastardly attacks?
Yes, our study of the situation points to that fact to say yes. You're correct. There these are because it's shown a trend of the same type of operations. And if it's not checked, it will go towards issues of use of IEDs and bombing and all that. This is how it all started initially in the northeast. There is a lot of connection between both. I think when this group, the Boko Haram group changed a lot of names because of the operations of the military, to the last 10 where they changed the name to ISWAP, the Islamic State in West Africa province, and with the support of ISIS and all that. But remember that ISWAP was given till January 31st to actually show their capability of taking away or taking all the territories back or sustaining their fight. Unfortunately for ISWAP, the Nigerian military were able to stop that plan, so they were not able to fulfill, to be able to please their master, that is talking about ISIS in that regard. So there was need to sustain the operation, and there is a loophole in the Northwest that since after the elections they have increased between January, February, there were increased operation in Zamfara State and Katsina State. Then during the election, they were not much of activities. Now, after this election then they've increased their operations. Obviously, it shows that there is link between the insurgent operation in the northeast and that of the northwest.
Now, very quickly, what do you think the security agencies are not doing right at this moment?
What the security agencies are not doing right is that their intelligence gathering system mechanism has failed, and intelligence or processing, intelligence does not end in gathering. How do you process it, and to who do you provide that information to? Then, in terms of operations, do you take proactive actions? That has also failed. Then it's only when the criminals, these terrorists or whoever they are, had caused mayhem that you now see the Nigerian army or the Air Force coming in as a way of trying to respond. That shouldn't be. I believe that the security agencies should be ahead of this terrorist group. They should be able to preempt their activities. Like we're saying now, it's obvious that they will try to improve their actions, the activities, the killings. So how prepared are the Nigerian security agencies to also to stop them from carrying out this act? So in terms of intelligence gathering and intelligence processing, I think the security agencies in Nigeria has failed. What they are doing right now is being reactive. And we have said that the Nigerian police, which is the lead agency in internal security, need to be able to work closely with the Department of State Security Services. But as we speak, it seems that both agencies have not actually worked well to be able to nip these things in the bud before they occur. And that is why you see the military coming in. The military ordinarily, they are not supposed to be providing internal security operations. But now they are everywhere. They are being called to do this work.
How bad do you think things can get in Zamfara State and, of course, other states that are experiencing similar problems now before the military and, of course, the government itself gets a grip on this?
It could get very, very bad if actions are not taken immediately. I'm happy that Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari is not resting. I'm sure that he must be a very troubled man right now, sincerely speaking, because it doesn't seem to be going well after the elections in terms of security. Everywhere is getting a bit of heat. But I think that what the security agencies should do is to up their game. But to do that, the political leaders must help them, must assist them. It's not just about approving 10 billion naira to do what? That is not the right thing to do at this time around. It's about studying what really is the situation and come out with an action plan of how to prevent it and stop it. In that regard, I support the call that for immediate action to help to solve this problem. I support the call for state of emergency in Zamfara State. that would not only help to solve the Zamfara problem, that will send a signal to other states, governors, these other states that are experiencing similar issues, for their governors to sit up immediately to see how not to fall in the line of a Zamfara state. So,
and of course, I can understand where you're coming from, because the words out there is that the governor of that state, Abdulaziz Yari, has actually not done enough to deal with this problem.
No. Seriously speaking, without being political, the governor there has not done enough. He has not shown a value for the lives of his citizens, and that really is the problem. It's not about coming out to say, I'm the chief security officer of a state, I'm this and that. At the time, he was passing the blames to the military, and the military responded. And I can tell you authoritatively that there are several times where there were requisition for the state to support in terms of preventing some of these actions, and the governor was nowhere to be found. And it is a governor that has been said to be a lot of not being present at the time when the state needs him to be there. So in terms of providing support for the police command over there, it has been zero, because several times I have visited the state and I have interacted with the commissioners of police in that state, and they will tell you that this is confidence that the governor they have not been able to help them to provide some of what they need. A point in case was during the last Inspector General of Police. He visited, that is talking about IGP Ibrahim Idris. He visited the state. After assessing, they worked together. They came out with a requisition, things, the need for APC, armored personnel carriers, and some of the vehicles to help to go into some of these forests to be able to carry out the operation. But the governor could not help to support. The IG was now pleading with the governor of Osun State to help release some of the APCs from Osun State to help them carry out the operation in Zamfara State. But the governor of Osun State said, no, we can't, because the APCs there already in Osun State are already marked Osun State property, so you cannot leave the state. This is to tell you what the situation is in terms of governance. The governor really have not done what he should do in helping to solve the problem.
Patrick Agwambu, well, thank you very much. And it's quite unfortunate that for a governor who gets security votes, then you just wonder what he does with that security vote. But thank you very much for joining us and for your insights there.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll switch from security matters and talk about serious politics. On Deji 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
The Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that band.
Deji 360, providing clarity to issues.